Hi, welcome to Exec On AI, the podcast for exec by exec. And today we are receiving Fredric Vacher from Dassault Systèmes. Welcome, Frederic.
Thank you for the invite, Nabila.
I'm really happy to see you today. We have a lot to discuss. So you're head of innovation at Dassault Systèmes. You're also the founder of 3D Experience Lab. Can you tell us a little bit about the relation between Dassault Systèmes and the 3D Experience Lab?
So, Dassault Systèmes, we are a startup.
Yes.
Since 40 years now, a big startup.
Indeed.
In the digital world since day one, in the generative AI since day one, because the origin of Dassault Systèmes is to define a 3D representation of a thing in a replacement of a drawing. So at that time, people were having a pen or a paper and doing different perspectives of a part, or with an IBM mainframe, they were digitalizing their project in 2D. On our side, the bet was to directly work in the 3D space to create a 3D model. And then if you were willing to have the drawing, you were generating the drawing. Okay. So it's what all the industry worldwide is using today. We cover 11 industries in 140 countries. So all the planes flying around, civil or military, are fully digitalized with our software. Most of the cars, if not all, your car, what's your car?
I don't have a car.
You don't have,
Okay,
maybe you have a bike, so most probably a bike. So the Tesla, the BID, or the Volkswagen, or Renault, PSA, they are all our customers, but mostly everything around you has been digitalized from design, engineering, simulation, production with our platform. Since 12, 13 years now, we invested a lot to digitalize human, from things to life. With two angles. One is a molecule, to virtualize your molecule. So to create this spiral of innovation, like we did for the industries, for any sort of products, but for a molecule to discover the new vaccines or the new medicines. The second angle is the organs, so that we create the virtual twin of your organ to create a patient-specific scenarios to prepare a surgery up to creating a specific implants dedicated for your own body, up in the future to fabricate an organ with your own cells. It's in our labs. So your question was about the Fredric Experience Lab into all that. This initiative has been created 10 years ago. So I founded this initiative 10 years ago with the objective of an open innovation lab to accelerate disruptive startups that strongly impact the society. Yeah. With all the history of Dassault Systèmes along our life, we were challenged by industry. They were willing to develop their product faster. They were willing to work in parallel to reduce planning. They were willing to optimize their costs to have better design, better performances. So they were challenging us, and all along the years, we were answering. Okay. And now, as you see around you, and it's not new, our planet is suffering. The planet is limited, so we need to inspire the transformation for a more sustainable world, and it will come through the industry. So, if the industry wants to transform itself, what we can call a metamorphosis, they have to follow an industry sustainable framework, which is composed of three main elements. One is you need your investors to be in
the same mindset, you mean?
And to validate your plan. In terms of investing. So your shareholders or your VCs, if you are a small company. You need to think about a systemic approach. Because whatever you do is part of a global system. Yeah. And if you are not thinking system, you can change stuff that will have negative consequences before or after somewhere else. And third, you need to think out of the box, disruption. And this is where the lab is focusing. We are working on young project that wants to change the world with a disrupting approach, thinking out of the box. And usually those guys, they are not the big industrials, because the big guys, they have their legacy. So they cannot transform themselves so easily. So this is why we focus more on communities and startups, early stage startups, that could really see the world differently. And with our help to go to market with this new idea, from the idea to reality.
So we're really lucky today because receiving you is having two people in one. We have the startup person with the 3D lab experience which we consider as a startup. We also have the head of innovation of Dassault Systèmes, which is 25,000 employees all over 140 countries, 6 billion revenue. So we have the two approaches, and I think this is really interesting for today. Usually we talk about use cases right away. I think in our cases, it's going to be interesting to talk about responsible. As a head of innovation, when your role is about testing stuff for the sake of testing, just because we want to innovate, while we want to keep this, approach of being impactful, responsible, how do you balance both innovation and responsible?
With Dassault Systèmes, it's in our DNA. What we do is virtual world for the real life.
Yeah.
So we are not in a video game. Everything you do in the digital world with us is to be produced or is to fit, a particular angle of the human or the product or the planet.
So to answer real need.
Real need.
Yeah.
With mathematics behind, science behind. So we are a science-based company, in fact. I'm not a coding company. We do science with computers. What we expect to do and what we do is providing those technologies to have a better world, obviously.
Yeah.
There are other business like entertainment, like metaverse, like all those social media platforms to do entertainment in general. It's not at all our business. On talking about technology, you need to know that some technologies are easy in terms of impact.
Yeah.
And more and more. Talking about LLM, it's even worse.
Yeah.
But it was already the case, in the past when you were just asking a question to Google search, you were consuming data servers as a consequence, energy. And around all those data centers, you have nuclear plants because it need to be. With LLM, it's another dimension.
Exactly. Yeah.
So people need to be conscious about this and use it for good. I'm not saying it's bad, but you can generate thousands of stupid pictures just for nothing or for fun. And doing that, you take a lot of energy. So we need to be responsible and to understand the balance between what you take and what you give.
Absolutely. Can we deep dive about this? Because I know it seems kind of natural for us, but I was having the same conversation with people that are not using AI every day. And they're like, but what's the difference between using internet and using AI in terms of energy consumption?
Now, AI, first you need to build your model. So this takes a lot of energy to build the model. And then each time you use, you take also a big chunk of energy. So you have two, in fact, pipeline of energy consumption.
Yeah.
So, of course, at Dassault Systèmes, we have a division doing cloud, outscale. We focus on sensitive data, like industrial, military, or medical. And we optimize all this to be responsible. As you know, we did a partnership with Mistral AI so that people could get a sovereign platform if they want to leverage those LLMs. And on our side, we do a lot of AI already. People don't know because we are not that known with the general public. But for instance, in the past, you were designing something, you need an engineer. Now what you can do is you can prompt your specifications. Just prompt this, our solvers will run and will generate a shape that fits your requirements. So we reverse completely the process. We have, for your audience, a free platform for the general public, Home by Me. You can do your apartment or your house in 3D online on the cloud with your iPad or with your PC or Mac. It's free. So use it. But the historical process was you just sketch your floor plan or you take something like this with augmented reality, scan your rooms. And then when you have your space, you drag and drop furnitures, you select the paintings, you put the carpets, the table, manually, one by one. It's very easy, but it's kind of cumbersome and not everyone is an interior designer. Now with AI, just sketch your floor plan because we need the exact space.
Yes.
Again, we are doing virtual world for real world, for real life. Then you select few pictures that inspires you. And our solvers are generating the full home decoration in 3D based on the selection of your picture. The color, the style of the furnitures, on everything. And it gives you a proposal and then you can just adjust. So it fastens the process. In very short, AI is not inventing nothing. it's repurposing information. So it's providing you more information, more knowledge to automate your processes.
Yeah, and then we have the generative AI, we have like the more enrichment AI, the agent AI, so different kind of use cases. But really, it's to make your life easy. Thanks for sharing these use cases. So maybe just for people that are following us today here, the advice you're giving to people to be impactful and to be responsible while using AI. So I'm hearing the first thing is try to have something that is useful for people. Would that be a
It's obviously it's what we are trying to share. We work a lot on medical sector, life science, and we use a lot of AI to for medical imaging, for instance, either detect patterns or reconstruct organs, so that then we can plan a surgery. I have a project with a Belgian startup. You reconstruct your arteries from the PT scan or RMI in 3D, and then our algorithm are automatically matching the right stent corresponding to your morphology.
Okay.
So the doctors don't have to look after, catalogs.
Yeah.
We say this is the right one. And then obviously the surgeon is doing the final decision, but it's an assistant. Plus, we provide all the trajectory for the best implant. So to prepare the job and to reduce risk and to optimize the performances. So this is how we see AI, That's the real value, because at the end of the day, we save life.
Amazing. The second thing I wanted to discuss regarding this open lab innovation is the collaboration part of it. I'm a fierce believer in the power of collaboration and, the fact that if you put several people in the same room, you'll get much more value than just working alone. How do you encourage this, collaborative innovation? What steps are you taking for people to build collaboration between?
That's the fundamentals of the Fredric Experience Lab. There are several angles. First, we combine data intelligence on AI on human intelligence. Collective intelligence around communities of people, of experts and passionates to work together and give their perspective on a particular topic. So this is how we fuel our funnel from an ID, which is sometimes coming from candidate, but also coming from our data, because we monitor everything around us on the planet, especially in regards to the 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, because if we want to impact, we want to identify projects that meets those goals. So we monitor with our AI, get all new startups, projects everywhere on the world around those goals.
Can you share some just to help project?
We have a lot. We have some success because after 10 years, we have now some good success. We had 10 years ago a team coming saying we want to fly with the sun.
So this was one goal.
So this was their objective to have an autonomous solar drone, a kind of plane, because it's a big one, like 5 meters wide. Inspired by Bertrand Piccard on the Solar Impulse, we were partners, and we helped the guy to do this world tour, which was an amazing project.
That's huge.
But not to transport people, to monitor and to transport sensors. And now they are live, are selling their missions, and this solar drone is now flying.
Talking about this specific example, I'd love to deep dive about how did you create collaboration around that? How did
all
that
our
happen?
projects are around collaboration. Collaboration between people, first at Dassault Systèmes and all our mentors. So it's a new model I created in the company to have everyone at Dassault Systèmes on the volunteering basis that could work with the lab, share their knowledge at 10% of their time during the working hours. And they can work for any of our projects. And outside, collaborative projects where at the middle you have the startup, needed help for not only Dassault Systèmes, but other people. So talking about Exosun, they had some partnership with Safran for electrical, Total, because they had the need of monitoring pipelines to detect leaks. So all our projects are collaboration projects. I have another project which is nice because we are in France, so I will mention more French tech projects. Coming from south of France, a startup called Hopper. They do recycling of composite materials from aerospace industry. So, you know, composite material is difficult to recycle. So they had this idea of taking those recycling materials, not used for planes, and from that to create and to engineer blades for people that are handicapped, that are disabled, so that they can run with composite blades. And around this project, you have us, you have Airbus, you have Salomon. You have several big players helping. Everyone is giving their contribution to this. We are working on fusion nuclear.
Maybe some
We
AI?
are working on big things. So
I'm just thinking like on the AI project where collaboration had happened, I'm just trying to understand how can tomorrow or today people build this collaboration? Like what's the steps they should be taking to build this collaboration if they want to work on AI?
AI specifically, first there is a lot of open source in this field.
Yeah.
The objective is trying to grab users and to access the market very quickly. And of course, open source being a business model, when you do open source, you sell something else. So either you sell hardware, either you sell services. For us, we really worked on AI, on deep tech, and it's often more than just data. It's more profound. It's a lot of simulation, by the way, often. But for instance, I am a strong believer of using Gen AI to discover new molecules. And I think it will help. We are working heavily on the topic with a lot of big players. And this will probably change the game. So we have one of our board doing medical trials. Many data. So it's about 70% of all private clinical trials of the world done on this platform. It's as a consequence huge data, obviously anonymized, on which we can run algorithms to try to help.
Yeah, and talking about this industry where the impact of AI could be absolutely huge and definitely positive, talking about the health industry, we're talking about big projects, a lot of data, collaboration. I'm guessing you're building new partnerships every single day. Is there a process that you're following to build this new partnership? I know you already have a lot of relation, and so you already build that.
Yeah, we are here in the business on the tech industry since the beginning. I would say 35 years ago. We have partnership with all the big guys that the Microsoft, and on all the the Intel, the HP, the Dell. By the way, a strong partnership with Dell on the lab standpoint. But on one side, we worked with all the big guys because obviously, as we are a software and platform company, we need hardware to operate. And at the lab, I always need the best hardware.
Makes sense.
And I'm chasing the performances. And if we're talking about XR, there are a lot of new stuff those days, especially in headsets, VR or AR. It's a domain which is still... We obviously, as soon as you have the good device, for us it's the dream, because we do virtual worlds, so I could immerse you into a virtual world. On this topic, we partner with all the different industrials. Now with Meta, selling MetaQuest for 400 euros. Apple Vision Pro saying a very amazing device, quite expensive, but it's a start. On the value of this Apple Vision Pro, its computer is in the device. So you don't need to plug to a computer, having a graphic board. All this is having a cost. All this is painful to maintain. So for general public, it's not yet in use. And this is what Meta experimented. They bought Oculus 6 years ago, willing to have a headset in all the living rooms for everyone, for you. And in fact, it's not yet there because it's not that simple.
And it's also about the use case, right? You were talking about the real life, what's the real use that we need. And for sure, when you assist a medical person with the visual of what they're doing inside your body, that makes a real difference.
That makes a real sense. So on this topic, we have Vortex, which is a virtual reality experience that puts the patient into a radiotherapy treatment. And we have a simulation center of this experience in the Hartman hospital. So you know, Hartmann in Neuilly is the biggest European private radiotherapy center. And unfortunately, more and more people to treat because more and more content. Meeting the surgeons and the doctors, it was 6 years ago, they were telling me that the patients are afraid of the robot. You are treated by a robot.
Okay.
And me, I am an engineer, so I know what a robot is. So I'm going into factories, so I know they will not kill me.
So good point. Can you just clarify the difference between AI and robot?
AI is a algorithm based on data, usually big data, and a robot is a physical thing, you know, doing stuff heavily used in the industry, either for fabrication, either for assembling. So for instance, for your phone, usually you have 2 robots doing very quickly a lot of tasks.
And usually within the robots, there is some intelligence to
more and more. Before the robot was programmed by your software from the virtual twin. Now more and more the robot is sensing the world so that it can be programmed by doing it. So you do it once and then he repeats, or he can even be intelligent and understand that there are 2 glasses here, and he can grab the glass. But coming back on my Vortex, the objective is with a virtual reality headset, create a virtual tour of the surgery room. What we have done is we have virtualized not only the robot, but the room and the protocol. And we give each patient this virtual reality headset. He can then visit in 3D, like if he was teleporting himself in the real room. He can click, you know, just to understand what are all those equipments, lights, even with the sound. Those sounds could be very scary. And then he's lying on the bed, and he will be treated like in the real life. So the objective is to de-stress the patient, to reduce the level of stress so that the patient won't move during the real treatment.
That's great to hear that sometimes you can use AI to make people feel more comfortable, have less fear, and train themselves in a situation where they will be safer, where they will be treated in a more relaxed environment. And it's not all about fear, but it's also adding a lot of value, especially in the health industry.
Yeah, definitely. And you remember, because currently the buzzword is generative AI, but 2 years ago it was metaverse. You remember that?
True.
A metaverse, a virtual world for entertainment.
Yes.
And on our side, it's really a universe which is real. You are in front of the real robot with the real treatment.
And talking about reality, any lessons that you've learned, especially around AI, because this is the topic of the podcast today, anything that you used to be doing before, how did you evolve in your way of implementing AI projects?
Having a virtual twin of your model, year after year, first you expand the access to this virtual representation of a thing. At the origin, it was only for engineers. And then it came accessible to the guys doing the manufacturing in the factory. Now it's accessible to marketing teams or the CEO and even the consumer. You want now to do your kitchen in 3D everywhere around the planet. You do it online on the web, on the...
Super easy. Yes.
So we'll have a new way to experience a product, buy the product. So we are just at the beginning because the devices now are getting better and cheaper. We're talking about all those AR and VR headsets. But it's also this type of device that allows us to augment the reality very easily and very quickly. So you want to buy a new watch, you just have the watch in 3D in your smartphone, and the watch is in augmented reality fitting your...
And you can see in real if it fits your morphology.
So we are not yet there because you in the surgery and in the medical domain, precision is very important. And those devices cannot yet calibrate exactly, superpose the virtual with the real, with a precision enough. So we are not yet there, but it will come in few years.
I think my question is also, as a leader, what lesson can you share with people out there that are trying to start AI project? What is the advice, or what is the thing that you're doing differently today to be impactful, to be responsible, to have this positive impact using it?
On AI at large, care about the IP.
IP?
Intellectual property.
Yes.
Some AI algorithms are not caring about those things. It's critical. Second, care about the confidentiality. If you use third-party algorithms, they get your data. So as a consequences, if it's confidential data, you are losing them. So care about the confidentiality of what you do, not only the data, but just prompting something could provide a lot of information.
Yes.
As we said at the beginning, behind all this, you have energy. So use it for good.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Not to generate thousands of stupid pictures. By the way, there are very good artists leveraging a Midjourney to generate amazing renders. That's for sure.
That's the job.
It's their job.
Yeah,
What is important to me is behind those pictures, there are IP. Currently, it's not well organized and controlled. So, okay, taking the IP of others, for me, it's a problem personally. But in terms of business and as we are a global actor in the industry, it's very important for us. The IP of our customer is very precious, and we are securing this IP even around collaborative projects, and this is very important.
Thank you so much for sharing that. To conclude this episode, I know the 3D Experience Lab is all about positive impact. We have at least that in common. So I would like to take a moment for you to make an invite, if you want to make any invite for people who wants to collaborate with you and have this positive impact.
Yeah, so as I said, we are an open lab, so everyone is welcome to help. Everyone is welcome to share a disruptive idea or project. That's not that easy to be really disruptive and to bring something very new. That's not easy, and it's not around the corner. But if you think you have really something cool, we maybe are the partner, the trusted partner to help you. At the end, having a cool idea is good, but you need to know that you think you have the best idea on the planet. On the same time, you probably have at least 10 people having the same idea like you. So the idea is what's make the difference is from the idea to reality.
The people that are making it.
So you need to make it happen. It's not that easy. Our lab helps, especially with experts, with mentors, to do well right the first time, to help industrialize. Of course, when you have a product to put on market, you need certifications and all that stuff. We have solutions for that. We can connect with the network we have, which is the global industry network. So that's huge. So it's usually what I say in summary, we are a digital platform on the cloud operating everywhere on the planet. We are also a physical platform in 140 countries connected with all the industry. That's the value of Dassault Systèmes.
What a way to conclude. Thank you so much for sharing your insight. I'm taking a moment as well to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you like this episode. And see you soon on Exec On AI.
Bye.